All right, so there's a lot going in the Chicago Bears direction right now, and it's been a long time coming. Hallelujah. Y'all deserve it. And I'm going to talk about all that in a later video. But for today, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears' new stadium renderings. So, last week, the Bears released renderings for their new stadium that they plan to complete by 2028. And it got a lot of feedback. It got a lot of support and excited fans, but it also got a lot of pushback. I'm going to delve into that in this video. This stadium has a lot of features. It has a lakefront location, which is beautiful. That really speaks to the city of Chicago. It's a design that kind of emulates a lot of new stadiums that have been constructed, like your SoFis, like your Allegiants. It has that translucent roof, which is really cool. I like that touch too. Maybe not in Chicago, and I'll talk about that. But I do like that look. It looks very modern, looks very advanced, and it's very spacious inside from what I've seen with the renderings. And that's something that's been valued. Just the sheer size of these stadiums, just not being cramped, being able to get up and walk around without being packed in like sardines. It just looks like a real modern football consumption experience. So props to the Bears for that design. And this stadium, all right, I should rephrase it. This complex has a lot of amenities. They've completely reimagined the entertainment district. They've taken your typical entertainment district like the Battery or the Star, and they've multiplied it by 4. I mean, they completely put a new spin on this. There's amenities, including a pathway for bikes and pedestrians, which is awesome. There's open space around the stadium, in and around the stadium, for fans to experience at all times of the year, not just on game days, which is pretty cool, kind of builds a sense of community. And the stadium also be able to use for a wide variety of events because of its size. That was part of Chicago's intention here. It can be used for concerts, and with something of this size in Chicago, you can have Taylor Swift, you can have Drake in this thing, you can have some real banger performances in this venue. March Madness is in the works for Chicago. They want to be able to host that at this stadium, but most importantly, it is Chicago's mission to host a Super Bowl. If New York can do it, so can Chicago. That's the mentality, and they can provide an even better experience. So that's really the end goal with this complex. Yes, they want to serve and reinvest back into the community, but they ultimately want to host a Super Bowl. Now, this whole scenario here, I want to make an analogy here. It kind of reminds you, like picture you're back in college, and you're getting ready for spring break, and you find out about spring break plans that some of your friends come up with, and it's for an all-inclusive in Cabo. You give your parents a buzz, right? You say, "Hey, Mom, hey, Dad, my friends and I, we stumbled upon this Cabo trip for spring break. Let me tell you, this resort is awesome. It's right next to the ocean. We're at an all-inclusive. We get the drink package. It's in a safe area. There's so much to do. All my friends in my fraternity are going. There's just one catch. The trip is going to cost $2,000, excluding airfare." And then your parents are like, whoa. I don't know where you're getting that $2,000 from, Bob. And then that's where the friction ensues. The Bears are having a similar reaction from the city of Chicago and its lawmakers and its local government. It's very costly. So the Bears stated in a press conference last Wednesday that the new stadium would cost around $4.7 billion. And that the Bears would pay roughly $2 billion of the amounts needed for it. However, the Illinois Sports Facility Authority calculated that the realistic cost for this venue would be $6.9 billion, with taxpayers fronting $5.9 billion of it. So it's fair to say that local government officials are not happy with this. And some Chicago residents love the idea, but others are very worried about paying the amount that they would need to to fund this thing, really. I mean, they at the end of the day, they don't want to be spending $90 for, a dinner for two at the Olive Garden. And I can't say I blame them. I really can't. This right here, this happens in sports all the time. This right here is the classic scenario of an organization putting renderings out there, putting flashy, exciting, innovative renderings out there to capture the attention of fans and to get your local governments on board with the idea, because you need their support. So the mentality is, if I can woo these people, if I can capture their attention, and if I can get them as excited about this project as we are, maybe they're going to support it. Maybe they'll be so intoxicated by what they see that they'll kind of look past the numbers and say, hey, yeah, this is something that Chicago needs, and we'll get it here at any cost. The risk that you run with that, though, is that sometimes local governments may already oppose the installation of the new venue, regardless of how you frame it. When somebody, and you see this with people, when somebody has their mind made up, their mind is made up, and you're not going to change it. And you saw this whole situation happen in Phoenix with the Arizona Coyotes. There's no way they're going to get them to stay there. And there's no way that the local government could frame the idea of a new arena to keep the Coyotes in Arizona. So they're having to relocate to Utah, Salt Lake City. I think Chicago could bend here. I think the Bears may have to adjust their renderings here and maybe adjust the price of the stadium. So if you're talking $6.9 billion, yeah, that's astronomical. But that's the risk that you run. You put these beautiful renderings out there to impress people, and if they don't, sometimes you can be kind of viewed as they're asking for too much. Maybe they're being too overzealous with this thing. But just looking at the situation, I think that there's compromise. Now, if you want my opinion on these renderings, I'm going to end this video with that. I'm an honest man. I like to be optimistic, but I like to be honest as well. I don't love them. And I don't love them because I don't think that I like the lakefront location, and I like the community aspect. But I don't feel Chicago when I look at this stadium. I'm an old school NFL fan. I grew up in the 2000s watching physical, hard-hitting football in the elements, and I appreciate that. And I want that to be retained. I don't want that element to be removed from the sport. Dating back all the way to the beginning of the game, these northern teams, they play in the elements, and that's part of the game. Hard-hitting, cold, snowy, rainy, muddy football. New York, Philadelphia, the Patriots, Buffalo, Cleveland, Chicago, Kansas City. I want to see sleet. I want to see freezing rain. I want to see rain. I want to see real slop fests in December. Look at this thing. It's a little bit too fancy, for lack of a better word, for my taste when it comes to Chicago. I look at that stadium, I see warm city. I see LA. I see Atlanta. I see Dallas when I look at this. I don't see Chicago. So, I think that Chicago can present some renderings that may be a little bit more realistic from a price standpoint, and also feel a little bit more Chicago. I get that they want to host Super Bowl. Maybe have a retractable roof. Maybe that's an idea. But for me, for my taste, this was a little bit too much for a team that thrives on grit and on toughness, on playing the elements. That's what it's all about. Lambeau Field, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Chicago, give me the cold, give me the rain, give me the snow, give me the elements. So I'm curious to see what happens with this situation. I think it's interesting. I want to see if Chicago will adjust these renderings and how they're going to work and negotiate with the state of Chicago to get these plans off the ground and get this stadium built by 2028. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.